Like to call to order the Peabody Planning Board meeting agenda for Thursday, September 5th, 2024, 7 p.m., Peabody City Hall, Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass. This meeting will be broadcast through Public Access TV. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the 8/15/2024 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, move approval of the minutes of the August 15th, 2024 Planning Board meeting.
We have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. Otto. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. A&R Land Court, none. Site building permit plan, 15 Newbury Street, map 88, lot 6. I believe we have a letter that was presented to you as a late ad. If somebody could recommend that.
Mr. Chairman, move to receive a letter dated September 2nd, 2024 from GPI requesting that the matter of 15 Newbury Street be continued from today's meeting to the October 3rd, 2024 meeting, and move to allow such continuance as requested.
Second.
Second, Dr. Otto. All those in favor? Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is 10 Lowell Street, map 85, lot 185. A presenter, please.
Good evening. My name is Joe Betancourt. I'm an architect with the design studio at 14 North Central Street here in Peabody. I'm happy to be here this evening. I was not able to be at the last presentation. I was actually away and could not log in. I want to say just a quick thank you before I get started with the presentation for all of the feedback that we've gotten. We've worked very closely with all the city boards and the building department, historic commission, conservation. All of their input has been great, and we appreciate that. And also to all the patients, for everyone that travels along that sidewalk during construction. Downtown's very busy, so we appreciate everyone's patience during construction, and hopefully it'll all be worth it in the end. Was there a presentation?
At this time, I'd just like to make a statement. I have not related to you at all.
Oh. Was there a presentation that was going to be ready? Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And I know that you've seen this presentation before, and I won't get into all of the details, but you might notice there are three components to it, A, B, and C. So the A component is a checklist that comes from the Main Street Design Guidelines. So it's really to acknowledge the fact that we are adhering to all the guidelines. They're very well written, and we just want to keep that always visible and present, and say that we are complying with everything. Our design goals are pretty basic. We want to make sure that we are complementing the architecture of downtown. We want to, sort of follow the intent and spirit of the design guidelines. So there's a lot of language about a base, a middle, and a top, which you can see is very evident in our design. We also want our project to be another destination for downtown. There are some good ones already and some that continue to evolve. So we want this to be a destination when it's done. And also, hopefully a catalyst for future projects to, try to bring a higher level quality to all of our downtown projects. And then the third component, which is really just a general project overview. Again, I won't get into that, but it's really just talking about the square footage, the uses, construction type, and things like that. Next slide, please. So this is really just an acknowledgement. We all know our downtown, beautiful buildings, and really just we want to be respectful of the look and feel and the character of downtown. So anything that we're doing wants to sort of bring that from across the street onto our site. So again, the base, the middle, and the top is very much a part of our project. We're trying to get as much detailing as we can on our project. There's one Main Street especially is very beautiful. So we just want to acknowledge that we are borrowing from the look and feel and the aesthetic of downtown and trying to continue that across. Next slide, please. This is a very technical slide. It was put together actually for the construction review meeting that happened about a month ago, so I won't get into this. But everything that is on this list we are addressing and working on. Next slide, please. So this shows the first floor plan. So there's one entry into the building that you see highlighted in red. As you enter into the building, we have a 5-foot flat surface for ADA compliancy. We do have a ramp inside of the entry lobby. We've raised the first floor up by about 9 inches. So as you enter in the blue zone in the left-hand corner, you arrive in the elevator lobby. The elevator's in red. The stair is in orange. And if you enter into Brody's, which is in tan, you see that the bar is centrally located. We have capacity for 127 patrons. On the first floor, all of the back of the house, the kitchen is in the light purple, and the blue is the toilet area. Next slide, please. So just moving up to the second floor, again, Brody's is in the tan color. You see we have a smaller bar here, and we've got 78 patron capacity on this floor. Seating will be against the front wall and the right side wall. So to the back is all the services, back of house, food prep, and in red is the elevator that takes you up. Next slide, please. So this is the third and fourth floor. You see they're very conceptual and generic at this point, but the idea is to have salon suites up there. We're able to accommodate 8 on each floor. And those are continuing to evolve sort of as we speak. Next slide. So this slide is really starting to talk about the lighting. So any building lighting that we're going to have, we want it to be soft and sort of understated. So you can see we have a sign band at the bottom that will have some lighting. Possibly some lighting at the corners if we can do a very soft LED just to accentuate some of the details. But whatever we do for lighting wants to be soft and understated, as we're suggesting in this image here. Next slide, please. So just a view from the other side. Again, we're hoping that there's going to be a little parklet off to the right and that our project will have a nice synergy between the two. But here you start to get a sense of some of that detailing and the sconces as they march along the sidewalk to help create some scale and texture. Next slide, please. And then just getting a little bit closer, so the first 12 feet, the base of the building, again, we're trying to get as much detail as we can and create that pedestrian experience that'll be sort of inviting and safe as people travel along the building edge. Next slide. And then one last view, again, same messaging, trying to get as much detail as we can. Here you see the corner entry where the 10 is. That's really it. I don't know if anyone has any questions, comments.
Any questions from the board? Dr. Otto?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The little park is beautifully rendered, but it's not part of this project, is that correct?
It is not, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple questions related to the Goldthwait Brook that runs abutting the property. What's being done during construction just to prevent, debris and, just from an overall safety perspective, protecting the water source, there from debris and also for people accessing the brook?
So we met with the Conservation Commission and we were asked, and we proposed actually providing panels with screen. So any debris that falls on those panels, we're able to sweep up and clean. And we've had that right from day one that we started construction.
And then just as a follow-up, are there any plans for water drainage from the building to flow into the brook?
No, so the answer is no. We have leaders that actually come down in two strategic locations. We'll have crushed stone, and then the idea is that as the water comes down, we want to recharge directly into the ground.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Yes.
How will the occupancy in the new structure compare to occupancy in the current or previous structure?
So the first two floors will be restaurant, so that's business use. Sorry, that's assembly use. Upstairs, previously it was office use, which was business, and we'll have business on the third and fourth floor as well.
So, but the question is, in terms of like, how many people will be in the building at full capacity, let's say, if everybody's there using the restaurant, compared to what it has been? Are you building this so that you can actually have more patrons than what you currently have?
Yes, I don't have the number previously in front of me, but it was less than 100.
And do you have an estimate of additional vehicle traffic or need for parking as a result of this project compared to what the current need is?
So we don't have an estimate on that, but I think that because of the use, there is no actual requirement for us to provide additional parking, as I understand it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a sense of additional flow of traffic down. That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, directed to the chair. Is there anything that we need to do tonight to, in essence, undo the approval from 3 weeks ago and then do this approval? Does that have to be done this evening because of certain circumstances?
That's a very good question. I was thinking about it myself, and I don't have the answer to that. There was an approval, and I don't know that ipso facto doing it over rescinds the approval. If it needs to be rescinded, maybe a motion to rescind. And then, I don't want to confuse the record either, though.
It seems to make sense to me as well.
Would it hurt anything if we did have a motion to rescind?
I really don't know whether a motion to rescind acted upon affirmatively would affect the rights of any persons that might want to appeal the approval if such a process even exists. I don't know.
You're the lawyer, so I'll defer to whatever you think. Thank you.
I mean,
Go ahead with the second approval.
yeah.
Recommendation is to go ahead with the second approval if somebody wants to make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move that the planning board approve the application of JMB Design Studio for the renovation and construction of an addition to the existing commercially developed property within the existing footprint of the building located at 10 Lowell Street and Peabody, Mass. Site plan as submitted.
We have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. Otto. Could I have a roll call, please?
Attorney Peter Arvanites,
Yes.
Dr. Judith Otto,
Yes.
Mr. Roy Simos,
Yes.
Mr. Sean Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Tom French,
No.
Mr. Thomas Betancourt.
Yes. Approval
5-1.
granted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 41 Cross Street, AKA 75 Prospect Street, map 39, lot 600, 601. This is an application by a new Singular Wireless PC, LLC, AT&T, seeking a plan to actually put up some antennas. Yes, sir. Yeah, name,
I have a lot of electronics here. My name is Edward Parry. It's P-A-R-E. I'm an attorney at Brown Rudnick here representing AT&T. And good evening to the members of the planning board. I'm here representing AT&T, and if I may, I'll share my screen and do a brief presentation. Yep. Oh, somebody sharing? Perfecto. Well, through the assistance of the IT department, I'm able to use my laptop and share the screen. So AT&T is proposing to install what the ordinance considers a minor wireless communication facility on the roof of the building at 41 Cross. It's the tallest building in the area. I think it was previously approved for a hotel, but there are residential apartments currently in the building. This plan view here just shows the three, a little difficult to see, but the three groupings of antennas, which you see in those hatched boxes in this area on top of the penthouse. To the north is the proposed backup power generator with our HVAC condenser unit to cool the equipment room. Over on the southern side of the building, we'll actually be installing the equipment cabinets inside the basement of the building. And I'll just run through the plans quickly here. To give everybody a sense, so these are the groupings of antennas, 9 antennas in total, 3 on each of these mounts. As I mentioned, this is a backup power generator, and the generator is key because this is a site that AT&T has designated with FirstNet to provide first responder priority access to AT&T's network. So back after 9/11, the federal government decided that we needed a first responders wireless network because things got jammed up pretty quickly in New York City that day. So they developed this FirstNet network. AT&T bid with the federal government and was awarded a contract to establish and maintain the first responders network. So basically what happens is that first responders are given priority, so if the AT&T network is busy in the area, the customer calls will get dropped off, first responders will have a priority and will be able to communicate. Let's see if I can move down. Next is the elevation. So these are the groupings of antennas, as I mentioned. As I said, the equipment cabinets will be stored in the basement of the building, or installed in the basement of the building, so they won't be visible at all. The installation itself is similar to a facility which is next door. There's a commercial dental office building next door, which already has wireless antennas on it. And this will be similar. We're a bit taller, so there's less of a visual impact from public rights-of-way. Next, I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to stop sharing and bring up our photos. And all the information I'm covering this evening is also in the packets that we provided to the planning board. So AT&T has provided some photographs with some simulations where we digitize the facility onto the pictures. What you see here is just a summary of where the photographs were taken, where there's visibility. Those green dots indicate where the photos were taken from. The little yellow star in the middle of the building, on the roof of the building, is where the site is located. So I'll run through these quickly, hopefully not make anybody nauseous. So this is the existing building. Once AT&T installs, those are our panel antennas up on the top. This is the existing view from this direction. Again, the antennas. Existing. with the antennas, existing, and again with the antennas. Let me just switch to another screen here. So if the board's familiar with these wireless facilities, you've probably seen maps such as this. This is AT&T's existing coverage. The yellow star in the middle is the site identification for the proposed installation. We strive to get green coverage. That's good high data rates, good fast speeds for AT&T customers. And you'll see we have a lot of orange and white, which means no coverage or less than optimal coverage. And once we install this facility, this would be the change as soon as it takes. There you go again, the same yellow star in the middle of the map showing all of the green from the coverage that AT&T will get from the proposed facility. Likewise, we filed an emissions study that shows we're at about 15% of the total FCC maximum. So we fully comply with the emissions requirements. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions about the site plan. We did go through last week with the staff, police, fire. We had no particular comments that were not addressed. At this point, we have applied for our building permit. We've actually received the building permit. So we're here for the planning board's review of the site plan and would respectfully request it to be approved. Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Dr. Otto?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you. My read of the plans show that the only alteration of the actual site is the pad that is holding the generator and the HVAC system. Is that correct?
That's correct, and the antennas on the roof. But the site itself on the ground, yes, the generator pad and the HVAC condenser.
Thank you. And sort of a follow-up question to this, and not necessarily for you to be able to answer, our general capacity here in site plan review is to make a recommendation to the building inspector that the building permit issue. If you already have a building permit, this meeting seems, sorry, kind of unnecessary.
Through the chair, just a question on the overall timeline. When do you expect this project to begin? How long do you expect it to take to complete once it starts?
Typically, I would expect, we have periods where people can, file appeals and so forth. We have to finalize our construction plans. We've already provided a structural. I'd expect we would get going within the next 60 to 90 days. Installation would probably be 30 to 60 days. It's not a difficult installation. Obviously, we have a lot of work inside the building to, bring power in, power up the equipment cabinets, install the generator. So, I'd say maybe 60 to 90 days for construction, but most of it will be interior. As we mentioned to the staff, we would probably use a crane. We'll coordinate that with the police department for any police details that are required, just to lift the steel and the antennas up onto the roof.
Has any work been commenced on the site?
For AT&T, no.
Through the chair. So you said that the cabinets, the control cabinets, are going somewhere in the lower level?
Correct.
So what is the owner of the building giving up that might have been part of some approval for this, now found space for these cabinets? Is it in one of the storage rooms, like a garage or something that was there?
So it's actually down in the basement. So whatever he has the electrical and heating units on one side of the building. This was apparently a vacant area inside the basement on the other side of the building, which is why we put it over there. So he's only giving up basement space, that already exists.
Yeah. And there's no way to screen that off in any way, the antennas? any better than, I know how you show them on your depiction. But they're set back in enough such that when you're down on the street, right, you see very little of it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Let me just, I mentioned, let me see if I can bring this up. Right, so because of the height of the building, you get a lot of blockage, which is why we use the photographs and photo simulations. This is actually the building next door that I mentioned at the dental facility. So, not very well screened, a number of carriers there. There obviously wasn't enough room for us. So we think the actual visibility from ours will be significantly lessened.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? At this time, I sort of go along with Dr. Otto in a quandary. We could take a recommendation for building permit to issue, but if you already have it,
Well, we can certainly revisit that. It might be a matter of the way the electronic system works these days, that we satisfied the requirements the building permit issued. We'll certainly, make that point known to the building commissioner if that's the pleasure of the board. But obviously, we also, the ordinance requires site plan review by the planning board for wireless facilities. So we'd at least like to have a recommendation or your approval of the site plan.
at this time, I would accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board approve the application of AT&T of the site plan to co-locate 9 panel antennas, 3 antennas per section, mounted on top of the penthouse on the roof of the building at 41 Cross Street, AKA 75 Cross Street, at the 78-foot 6-inch above ground level antenna centerline height extending to 80 feet 6 inches above ground level, together with related amplifiers, cables, fiber, and other associated antenna equipment, including without limitation remote radio heads, surge arresters, and global positioning equipment, system antennas with associated electronic equipment and other appurtenances located within an equipment room within the basement of the building, along with 1 natural gas generator and HVAC condenser located on the exterior of the building within a compound area enclosed by a chain link fence.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Attorney Pete Arvanites.
Yes.
Dr. Judith Otto.
Yes.
Mr. Roy Simos. Mr. Sean Walsh.
Yes.
Mr. Tom French. Mr. Thomas Betancourt.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate the attention and your consideration. Have a good evening.
Next item on the agenda is appointments. Having none. Subdivision board action, none. Any comments on correspondence? I see that we have a nice letter that stated that we got the money that was requested. Other matters properly before the board?
Since we have so much time, Mr. Chairman. The ATT proposal before us tonight, and some of the other smaller things that we've seen, including even perhaps Brody's, which has no site change from the existing site, makes me think that perhaps we, in the future, might like to investigate what actually constitutes a site plan and if any changes should be made to that arrangement in the zoning ordinance.
I fully agree with that. The matters properly before the board? At this time, we'll accept the motion.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Again, thank you, board members.